The Attom Q1 2026 home flipping report is out and the results might surprise you. For the first time in almost 2 years, home flipping profits actually went up. Now, before you start thinking we're back to the glory days of 2020 and 2021 where investors could buy almost anything and make money, that's not what this report says. In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly what's happening in today's market, why some flippers are thriving and others are getting crushed, and most importantly, how to position yourself to profit in 2026. All that and more coming up.
This video is brought to you by 10K Club, a program that pays you $10,000 for finding ugly houses. Learn more at my10kcheck.com.
If you're new here, my name is Jerry Norton. I make millions of dollars a year wholesaling and flipping houses. And on this channel, I show you exactly how to do the same. So if you want to be a flipping genius like me and live your dream life, subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. After 7 straight quarters of declining returns, Attom just reported that flipping profit margins increased from 24.7 to 25.4 in the first quarter of 2026. That represents the first increase after nearly 2 years of declines. That may not sound like much of an increase, but it's the first sign that we've seen that the market may be finally stabilizing. But let's keep this in perspective. A 25% gross margin isn't exactly amazing. During the peak years, flippers were seeing margins approaching 50%. In fact, Attom's year-end report showed that 2025 produced the lowest flipping returns since 2008. So what we're really seeing here isn't a booming market. We're seeing a market that may finally be finding a floor. And that's important because uncertainty is often worse than bad news. When profits are falling quarter after quarter, investors become hesitant. They stop buying, they tighten their criteria, they wait on the sidelines. But when the data starts showing stabilization, even modest stabilization, confidence begins to emerge. Now, the second thing that stood out to me from this report was where the profits are being made. The report found that lower priced markets continue to outperform expensive markets. Now, I've been saying this for some time now. Cities like Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Philadelphia produce some of the strongest returns, while markets like Austin and Dallas remain challenging. Now, think about that for a minute. For years, investors chased high appreciation markets. They chased the hot markets. They chased booming Sunbelt cities. But in today's environment, affordability matters more than appreciation. If you can invest in markets where the after repair values are at or below the national median home prices of $430,000, you won't go wrong because buyer demand is all about affordable housing. That's why it was no surprise to see in this report that homes purchased between $100,000 and $200,000 generated the highest returns. Why? Because that's where affordability and demand intersect. There's still a large pool of buyers who can afford those homes. But once you start moving into higher price points, your buyer pool shrinks dramatically. Higher prices mean higher holding costs, higher prices mean higher risk, higher prices mean a smaller margin for error. And in a market where homes are taking longer to sell, that's a dangerous combination. Now, speaking of longer sell times, Attom reported that the average flip took 165 days to complete and resell. That's over 5 months. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see investors make right now. They're underwriting deals like it's still 2021. They assume they'll renovate in 6 weeks and sell in 2 weeks. But that's not reality anymore. Today's market requires patience. Today's market requires more accurate budgeting. Today's market requires conservative assumptions. If your deal only works under perfect conditions, it's probably not a deal. Now let's talk about another fascinating data point. More than 61% of flips were purchased with cash or non-conventional financing. Now think about what that means. The majority of successful flippers are avoiding traditional financing altogether. The investors winning today are either using cash, private money, hard money, or creative financing structures that allow them to move quickly. Now, this is one reason why I've been such a huge advocate of what I call the takedown method. Instead of trying to wholesale every deal, instead purchase the property, take title, then make minor improvements if needed, then sell it retail at a discount without doing a full rehab. The successful investors in 2026 focus on controlling the asset and creating multiple exit strategies.
Find deals faster with PropWire. Search properties, skip trace owners, and get lead alerts. Download the PropWire app on the App Store or Google Play Store for free.
When you have multiple ways to profit, you're not depending on one buyer or one market condition. For example, yesterday on a team meeting, we decided to turn down a $19,000 assignment on a property in Harrison Township, Michigan, and instead, we're going to buy it because we think we can make a $50,000 profit if we take it down, do a trash out, and resell it to a retail buyer. And that's exactly the type of flexibility today's market demands. In fact, there's some interesting data that most people overlook. Remember I said that the report showed flippers made a 25.4% gross margin. Well, let's take a closer look at what that means. Gross profit is not the same as net profit when flipping. Gross profit is simply the difference between the purchase and the resale. For example, if you purchased a property for $200,000 and you resold it for $250,000, that's a 25% gross margin. What that doesn't take into consideration is the rehab cost and soft costs, such as closing fees, commissions, financing, and other holding costs. Honestly, if you're rehabbing, you need to be more like a 50% gross margin to make any kind of meaningful profit. Now, here's what I think is the biggest takeaway from this entire report. The era of lazy flipping is over. You can't just buy anything, slap on some paint, and expect buyers to line up. The investors making money today understand their market. They know their numbers. They buy at the right price. They keep renovations tight. They manage holding costs. And they have multiple exit strategies. In other words, they're operating like professionals. The report even noted that success varies dramatically by local market. That's a reminder that real estate is still local. National headlines don't determine whether your deal works. Your buy price determines whether your deal works. And your market knowledge determines whether your deal works. And your exit strategy determines whether your deal works. So what does all of this mean for investors in 2026? I believe we're entering one of the most interesting periods we've seen in years. Foreclosure activity is rising, more distressed opportunities are beginning to emerge, profit margins appear to be stabilizing, and many inexperienced investors have already left the game. In my opinion, that combination creates opportunity not for amateurs, not for speculators, but for investors who know how to find discounted properties and structure deals correctly. The investors who adopt to this new market are going to do extremely well over the next few years. The investors who keep using yesterday's strategies will struggle. And that's why if you're new to the real estate game, I want to invite you to be a finder for me. You find deals that meet my criteria, I step in and buy those deals, and I pay you a $10,000 finder fee up front. Now, if that sounds exciting to you, I want you to watch this 45-minute training to get all the details. Watch that now, and I'll see you on the next video.